My dears, welcome back to the channel. The beautiful and amazing and stunning building of the Opera of Vienna, Vienna Opera House, beautiful. I know for sure that I'm not the only one having this stereotype about the Viennese type of architecture, culture, Mozart, Beethoven, the Opera House. But also it is fair to say that as any other city in the world, once you come as a tourist, that's one side of the place. But once you leave, once you become somehow a local, you discover other faces, other sides of the city that at plain sight you wouldn't see. And no, of course not. Vienna is not the exception in this situation. And there is a face of Vienna that I really want to show you today. By the way, I'm riding. It's cold. I'm riding my bike and it's really, really windy. But let's go to the point. I would have never imagined that Vienna, this city that represents that like the finesse of culture, has like graffitis and street art all around. I would think about this, for example, Berlin. Yeah, even before coming to Berlin, I knew that this was what I was going to find. But Vienna took me by surprise in this case. Like, I want to show this side of Vienna because it's part of culture. Somehow, this is culture. And obviously, there are so many categories. There are so many different types of art, like street art. One thing is this kind of big wall paintings that are huge, like literally wall buildings. Like, also we have graffitis, like with a nice style. I mean, with the proper graffiti style, like letterings and stuff. Also, we have other type of, I don't know what to call that. I don't know if that's a little bit going into the side of vandalism, in the sense of some places should not be graffitied, painted, scribbled, but they are. So I'm not sure if that's street art, but for sure that's part of expression. I guess that's what graffiti and street art is about. It's expressing. It's sometimes protesting. It's exteriorizing thoughts. It's poetry. Ha. So my dears, please join me in this adventure of finding Vienna's most beautiful and gorgeous street art. And as you can see, my beautiful companion here, always. I know a couple of days ago it was sunny and warm, beautiful. Now today it's not sunny, it's not warm, but anyway, I'm gonna sacrifice myself to ride around the city and finding good pieces that I can show you. And as I always say, you are going to see whatever I see. So, well, let's go. I'm right now at the Albertina Museum. This is a terrace where you can see, obviously, the Opera House right here. Let me put the camera right here. This is the Opera House. Beautiful place. You have the Palmen House here. The Palmen House is like a restaurant, cafe, bar, whatever thing. Very fancy, cool to have, a drink outside when we have a sunny, warm day. And as you could see, there are people running around the city because right now we are going through the Vienna Marathon, which I totally forgot. So it's going to be kind of an adventure to ride around because the main avenues, the main streets are closed, and it's sometimes a pain in to cross the street while there are people like running. Again, I don't want to complain, but it's cold, but whew, let's go. So yes, who would have believed that? It started raining and I had to stop filming that day. A couple days have passed and we are ready. This beauty and me, we are ready to keep on going with this video. So yes, as I said before, Vienna is not just about these wide, beautiful, majestic buildings. Vienna is full of street art, and there is one place that you need to know. Let's go. This building that you see right here, that one, is called Urania. Yes, as you can see, it is an astronomical observatory. Also, it is a cinema. I love the building because I love astronomy and the moon and the stars and all that, but that's not the important thing about this place. The important thing is that we are at the Donau Canal. What are we doing here? Take a moment. Haven't you guessed yet? What are we doing here? Why the Donau Canal? Why? If you think that is because we're gonna go fishing, no, you're wrong. If you think that we came here because I want to avoid people, you are right, but that's not the purpose of being here. Basically, the Donau Canal is the epicenter of the street art here in Vienna. Graffiti, street art, people expressing thoughts, expressing themselves through colors and paints, and anything that you can imagine about street art is already here. Like big murals and graffitis and abstract art and realism and people writing with markers, with crayons, with pencils, with paints, with sprays. Anything you can imagine about street art has been already done here at the Donau Canal. Almost in any city, you have this conflict between people who want to do street art and the police, the government, the city. But actually, here in Vienna, there are places like here where it is allowed. It is allowed. And even, I'm going to leave it here because I forgot the name. There is even a couple of events during the year where people are invited to come and do their graffiti, their art, like festivals and exhibitions. So, good point for that. So what is the plan now? The plan is to walk around and I'm gonna show you all the graffiti. I mean, I could stay here the whole day showing you every graffiti, every piece of street art. Some of it is more like protest. Some of it is literally art, abstract art, very colorful. There are so many things to see. There are so many things to see. So I'm gonna show you a couple of the things that I see. Because you know what I say? You will see what I see. I don't know if you have thought about this before, but sometimes I'm watching graffitis and street art all around. There are some places in the city, in the buildings, on roofs. I have I don't even have idea how these people climbed up to these places to do graffitis. There are some graffitis in some places that I'm like, how do you even go there to paint there? How do you go there? How? Because again, everything comes down to stereotypes. Vienna just doesn't have the stereotype about a city that could be covered by graffitis. And now look at this. This is not just about graffitis. This is also about art, like literally street art. Look at this. Let me show you. So it seems that Vienna is a city that is open for people to express themselves in places like this. And that is also part of education and culture. And you might say, yeah, why is this representing education? Teaching people that they can actually express themselves in an artistic way, in graffitis, using sculptures, but not everywhere. Vienna is telling people hey, you can express yourself. Yes, it's okay if you want to do graffitis. It's okay if you want to do street art, but not everywhere. We have special places where you can do that, and we appreciate it. And people and tourists love it. That's education right there. Also, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that every type of street art probably covers different purposes. Here I might see more like artistic street art. If we go to other places, it's more like protest, like graffitis in terms of expressing thoughts, protests, expressing opinions, etc. Now, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that I was passing by and there was this guy doing a graffiti. I didn't want to interrupt and I just asked if I could just record his hand doing a couple of things. He was like listening to music and, he was doing his thing. So I didn't want to interrupt. And he confirmed it is allowed to make any type of graffiti, street art around the Donau Canal. It is totally okay and allowed. And then I wanted to ask a funny question. I was like, yeah, but what about if you do a graffiti that is covering a graffiti of somebody else? Is that, I know there are some codes, there are some behaviors. You cannot just come and just cover another graffiti. And then he says, yeah, that's totally right. You should not cover any other graffiti that was not done by you or somebody you know. I'm painting on this wall because I know the people who work and come here, and we have a limited time. So it's like you do a graffiti, the graffiti stays there for 2 months, and then another person is allowed to come and graffiti over your graffiti. So they already have a couple of rules already established. Very organized. So we can say that, for example, in comparison to Colombia, the graffiti or street art, at least in South America, has a vibe or more like protest. It's more like people trying to exteriorize their thoughts or disagreements with the government. Many of them are fighting for the revolution. Something that I would love to replicate in countries like Colombia is to create some type of laws, some type of normativity for street artists so that they are not hiding or running away from the police because drawing a graffiti or doing a painting, I'm sorry, but that's not a crime. Yes, I know that every building, every place cannot be with a graffiti. There are some places that should be respected. But in the context of Colombia, for example, I'm just going to talk about my country. In the context of Colombia, there are way bigger issues in regards of security, violence, crime, so that policemen are wasting their time just pursuing people who are doing street art. Please, come on. It's like I just think it's fair game if the city says like, look, there are these buildings, these places, these streets that we should protect because they represent some type of, I don't know, history to the city. And the idea is to preserve them in time. Simple. But we also support art, street art, all these people who are doing great, amazing things and don't have a space. What about if you have these spaces where you guys can do whatever you want, as you please? Probably, same as in Vienna, we are going to end up with places like this that represent art, represent revolution, represent thoughts, represent opinions from citizens, from people. Sure, at least in my case, I love it. I think it looks just literally cool. Well, I'm a graffiti. I'm a wall full of graffitis myself. My dears, this is time to close this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just gonna keep riding around a little bit because such a beautiful weather. Probably I'm gonna get a coffee as well, sit down, chill. I'm gonna write a couple of poems that I'm gonna be posting in my social media, so go check it out. There we go. This is my social media. Go follow me. Thank you. My dears, do not forget to subscribe, to like, to comment. That's gonna help me a lot. As always, have a lovely day and we keep in touch. See you soon. Bye bye.